welcome to Peripheral Vision, and today we're taking a look at the Resident Evil gun and knife. Now, before we get started with the review, I would like to thank Game Traders eTown for loaning me these items from their store. These are not my personal possessions. If you are interested in purchasing them after the review, I will include a link in the description to their Facebook page to talk to them about prices. Now, on to the review. These two items are Wii peripherals, meaning they connect to your Wiimote and your Wii nunchuck and help simulate the feeling of certain activities, in this case, shooting and stabbing, which every good boy and girl should know. Now, these came bundled with the game Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles. And I'm not a big Resident Evil fan, so I don't know that much about the game specifically, but I will show a little bit of the back art. And that is the game that these came bundled with. Now, I think these are fantastic, at least in their aesthetic. I'm going to show you a closer look. On the tip, there is this orange piece. Now, the reason for this orange highlight is because a lot of the times, toys and controllers and stuff that are gun-shaped have to have an accent that makes them clearly not a gun, so that they will not be confused for a gun in public settings. This is actually a rule in convention settings. If you have a big weapon, you have to have a big orange piece or a big colored piece that indicates that it's not a legitimate threat. And go down further, you can see close up, it's the Raccoon City Police Department. On the other side, and there's the Resident Evil logo. And there are two triggers here. Now, you look up here, there are two latches that pop open, and you can place your Wiimote in here. When you press either trigger, it has a different effect as far as technically, but they do the same thing. If you press the top trigger, you'll see that that thing moves, and it would normally click the, I believe, B trigger on the Wiimote. Now, if you click the bottom trigger, it adjusts this, which also triggers that button. However, it gives a more visceral sense of shooting a gun. Now, I personally prefer using the top trigger because it's more reliable, and the bottom trigger sometimes stalls a bit, but it is there as an option. And the knife, closer look, also looks very cool. This one does not have an orange thing on it. The Resident Evil logo and the Raccoon City Police Department. Sort of plain Jane, but very nice looking, very well put together. And that is the Resident Evil gun and knife. Now, the play in the game, from what I understand, is that you would hold the gun in one hand and the knife in the other, and you could use the nunchuck to do slashing and stabbing motions while the gun would fire. And I think that's a really cool concept for how to use the Wii's motion controls, so I give them kudos for a really interesting idea. And it especially works well with a Resident Evil game. I mean, this is I actually kind of want to pick the game up now and maybe give this thing a good hearty test run, but not really my game, not much of a shooter or survival horror fan, so probably leave it to someone that would enjoy them more than I would. But as it is, for any Resident Evil collectors out there, or just fans of the survival horror genre in general, I'd say worth picking up. I would if I was more into the scene, but not really, so not for me. But as always, later days.